One of the most shocking moves in sports history just went down over the weekend. And it's not a baseball trade, spoiler alert. It was a basketball trade, but it was something that nobody saw coming. So I'm going to try something different today. I'm going to translate that NBA blockbuster mega trade that we saw over the weekend and try to explain it into Major League Baseball terms. So we'll have that and much more coming up on this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Welcome in, everybody, to 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vrionis, and yes, I'm doing things a little bit differently today because there's not much news to speak about in the world of baseball, at least as of right now. We're hoping that the Pete Alonso situation gets resolved soon. Alex Bregman as well. There are some high profile free agents that have yet to sign, so I'll keep you up to date on everything that's coming out on that front. But make sure to hit that subscribe button, guys, because the support has been real. So shout out to you. But this is the trade that I'm talking about, and I'm sure that you've all probably seen it at this point. I mean, it happened a couple days ago now. The Dallas Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic. I'm going to skip all the other players. We'll just get straight to it. It's basically a Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis swap. Now, I've been going through this in my head, and I've been seeing a lot of people make comparisons for their respective favorite sports. I mean, I saw a great hockey one that I really wanted to share, and that was, it was actually one that I came up with. It was Kale McCarr for Nikita Kucherov. So I guess the premise of this trade would have to be picking two guys that play two separate positions, one a little bit older, one a little bit younger. I mean, it's really hard to quantify this trade into any other sport because they're all so vastly different, and the impact of one specific player is truly more amplified in basketball than it would be in baseball or in hockey per se. But yeah, there's no doubt that basketball is a star driven league, and you want stars. I mean, this is a star latent trade if I've ever seen one. It's the first time ever in NBA history that two all NBA players were traded for each other. So I gave you my hockey comparison, Kale McCarr for Nikita Kucherov. I kind of gave you the basis of what I was working with there. So my baseball comparison, and let me know in the comments down below what yours is going to be, is for me personally, it's Bobby Witt Jr., an MVP caliber player, I think we can all agree, getting traded for Aaron Judge. Now, maybe that's a little bit of a reach because Anthony Davis has never won an MVP before, and Aaron Judge has won a couple of MVPs. So maybe it's not a necessarily fair comparison there. So who could I change? Um, that's a tough one. That is a really tough one. I guess it's got to be an outfielder, someone a little bit older. It wouldn't be Mookie Betts, I don't think. I'm also thinking kind of forward for center. Bobby Witt Jr., decently tall guy, 6'2". Aaron Judge, tallest, one of the tallest guys in baseball, if not the tallest, 6'7", mammoth of a man. He's the Anthony Davis in this trade. He's 31 years old. Bobby Witt Jr., slightly younger than Luka Doncic, a couple of years younger, but he's going to be an MVP someday, or he has that ability in him. He may not win it, but he's going to be in the mix pretty much every single year. So that is my comparison. That is my baseball equivalent to this blockbuster trade that I saw. And shout out to Roto Baller MLB for kind of coming up with the scenario. People that don't really follow basketball all that closely, they were asking in the comments down below of this Shams Charania trade, what the hell just happened? Why is everyone freaking out about this? And what would be the equivalent for this sport or X sport or my favorite sport? So it's just a really fun scenario, and I thought that I would bring it up today. since the news is a little bit slow, but we do have some baseball news to get to, and I'm excited to announce this signing here. Jack Flaherty and the Detroit Tigers are in agreement on a 2-year, $35 million contract that includes an opt out after the first season. So the full details are not in this tweet right here from Jeff Passan, but the first year is for $25 million, and then the next year is $10 million. But as Passan mentioned, Flaherty can opt out after the first season. So Flaherty goes back to the team that traded him away at the trade deadline to the Los Angeles Dodgers. I mean, we don't see that very often. A guy going back to the team that traded him away at the deadline, but there seems to be some definite chemistry between Flaherty and the Tigers squad. He was cheering for them in the postseason. Obviously, they were on different sides of the bracket, so it wasn't necessarily frowned upon. But Flaherty built some relationships there. He was the number one endorser for Tarek Skubal to win the Cy Young, although I didn't think he really needed the extra help. Tarek Skubal was pretty much a lock by the midseason point, the way that he was pitching all year long. But he rejoins this team that really went on a miracle run last year after selling off assets at the deadline. They've built an insane culture around AJ Hinch. They got the timely hits in the postseason. They the pitching and defense was the name of the game for the Tigers. There's no doubting that. But they got timely hits. They got what they needed out of every single player that was on that wild card roster, on that ALDS roster, and they were really damn close to beating the Cleveland Guardians as well. So I mentioned the chemistry that he built up with the Tigers. He is now joining this rotation, probably going to be the number two behind Tarek Skubal, as he is the guy with the most pedigree and the most experience between Reese Olson and Jackson Jobe. Let me know if I'm saying that correctly. Is it Joby? Job? I'm not sure. But I know Jobe made his postseason debut. Didn't go too well for him, but he's a young guy, third overall pick a couple of years ago, who has immense stuff. And that rotation is one of the most underrated rotations in baseball, obviously headlined by the Cy Young winner, Tarek Skubal, and Jack Flaherty, who had a pretty good season last year, and an okay playoff run with the Los Angeles Dodgers. You know, nothing to nothing to write home about because the numbers weren't necessarily worth what they were throughout the regular season, but he won a World Series. And now he's going back to Detroit with a shiny new ring on his finger, so that's going to be nice to see. But thank you guys for making it this far, and let me know in the comments down below. Again, I really want to hear what you guys have to say. What MLB comparison would you give for this trade? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you all tomorrow.